2 weeks today, we will be sitting in this studio like we are now, but it will be deadline day. But there are so many deals still to be done, lots to get through. And today, we're joined by former Liverpool, Arsenal and Stoke winger, amongst others, Jermaine Pennant. We want to hear from you as well, and there are so many ways to get involved.
Manchester United fans, sit tight. Bruno Fernandes' move to your club seems to be getting closer. We're live to Lisbon for the latest.
We'll also be going back in time to look at the big transfer moves of Jermaine Pennant's career, and we'll be looking ahead to a huge Super Sunday clash between Liverpool and Manchester United.
And Arsenal, well, they're after bargains and they may be signing an international left-back on the cheap. All of the details coming up.
Remember, you can download the latest Transfer Talk podcast right now, available on iTunes, Spreaker and the Sky Sports website. Recording one this afternoon as well. So a new one tonight. One place to start, though, that's with Manchester United and Bruno Fernandes. It looks like he'll play in the Lisbon derby tonight, but that could be his final game for Sporting Lisbon. Let's ask Gary Cottrell, who's out in Lisbon for us. Gary, what can you tell us about the latest of this deal?
Yeah, great to be here as well, Tom. Things beginning to hot up nicely, aren't they, as we enter the business end of the transfer window. Juan Fernandes, normally based in Lisbon, already left to go to the Premier League. Gelson Fernandes, that's how I'm told you pronounce his name, despite the spelling, paraded in a Tottenham shirt earlier this week. And now his namesake, Bruno Fernandes, looking pretty set, if you believe what they're saying out here in Lisbon, to follow him. Let's take a look over my shoulder. You can see the stadium there where tonight the Lisbon derby will take place. 50,000 fans. The place will be absolutely packed. And they'll be paying tribute to their talisman, to their star, to the man they rate very, very highly, Bruno Fernandes. We're understanding that it will be his last game in green. All the goals and all the entertainment he's brought there. A midfielder has broken records out here in Portugal. Last season, 31 goals in 50 games, broke Frank Lampard's record for the number of goals from a midfielder in one season. And the season before that, he was Portuguese Player of the Year, already on target to do similar for them this season, 14 goals in 26. So he'll play tonight. We're told he is definitely playing. He'll say goodbye. There'll be no ill feeling. The fans realise his ambition, they realise his talent, they realise that he wants to move on in his career. And then after that game, we understand he could go almost straight away to the northwest to be in the area ahead of the game on Sunday, Manchester United at Anfield. Even suggestions that he could be in the stands for that game. No confirmation of any of this, of course, from Manchester United. They just confirmed that they are working on the deal, but the word locally is that it's a £60 million at least deal, £120,000 a week wages to get the kind of player that Manchester United so desperately need in their midfield. The head coach of Sporting Lisbon isn't happy, of course. He doesn't want to lose such a talismanic player, but he accepts that it's probably going to happen, and going to happen sooner rather than later. He says that he doesn't think that the money being talked about for Bruno Fernandes is the correct kind of money. He says he's not worth that. He's worth a lot more than that, and he says it'll take 3 players to replace him. So Bruno Fernandes on his way from here to the northwest. Not quite such good weather in the northwest, but I'm sure the goodbye he gets here will be equalled by the welcome that he gets when he finally pulls on that Manchester United shirt.
Great stuff, Gary. Thank you. OK, time to introduce Jermaine Pennant now. Welcome to the transfer team, Jermaine. This move with Bruno Fernandes to Manchester United, it's dragged on for quite some time. You could even say it's dragged on since the summer. How frustrating is it for a player when you want the move and you can't go just yet?
Yeah, it's very frustrating, especially when you've got a big team like Manchester United, all the history, you know, one of the biggest teams in the world. It gets in your head. You just want to be there. You want to kickstart your career, and you're doing everything you can. I can remember when it happened to me to Liverpool when I was at Birmingham. I actually fell out on my agent because the move wasn't happening quick enough. You know, I read the press are on there as well, telling that they've tabled a bid, it's accepted, and talks are ongoing. And I was phoning my agent saying, well, if I'm not going to speak to you again unless this move happens. I threw my toys out of the pram big time. So it does affect you, and it does play games on your mind, especially when you're training. All you're thinking about is this move going to happen? Is this move going to happen?
Dave, you found some interesting quotes from the player. Was it last summer?
Yeah, so, I mean, we saw the stadium there, and Gary showed it to us, a fantastic stadium in Lisbon, and he's going to be playing in such a historic game as well this evening. And there's always been an accusation among the Manchester United fan base where, you know, this player doesn't know what it means to play for a big club. Well, Sporting Lisbon is a huge club in Portugal with a really strong tradition. And he gave an interview to UEFA last year, and he talked about being the captain of Sporting Lisbon, and he said, being captain of Sporting is a huge pride. I'm Portuguese and have a sense of club history. I try to pass this on to my colleagues, as they often have no idea of the club they represent, a club like Sporting. So Manchester United are getting a player who is not only respectful of the history of Sporting, but realises the importance within his country of Sporting Lisbon, and they're going to be getting that player at Manchester United, and he's going to be someone who, and he's spoken about this over the last 6 months, he's not afraid to come out and criticise his teammates if he doesn't think that they are pulling their weight. He's done that with his Sporting Lisbon teammates. So United are getting a player who is not afraid to speak his mind and knows what it's like to play for a huge football club.
That's what they need right now. Manchester United need leaders. They need vocal players in that dressing room that can pull everyone together and really start taking them to that next level. And you've seen already in the past, there's a really good link between Sporting Lisbon and Manchester United. You go back to the likes of Marcus Rojo, obviously Nani and Cristiano Ronaldo. So the deals between those two clubs do happen.
What those quotes that Dave was saying, Anton, Manchester United fans, if they haven't read those already, they will love that.
They will, and I think there's always that concern, isn't there, when a player comes from somewhere like Portugal or Netherlands, and, oh, what are they going to be like? I haven't got any big league experience. Well, for starters, Bruno Fernandes played 3 seasons in Serie A. He's played for Udinese, so he's used to scrapping towards the bottom of the league. He's played for Sampdoria, you know, a club, but also he's been at Sporting, and Sporting have been struggling over the last few years. They're 4th currently in the Portuguese league, which is, well, their fans will be very unhappy with the fact they're not certainly in the top 3. So he's used to sort of a big club and needing to be the best player and the leader and dragging them up the table, which, as Mark and Dave were just saying, that's what Manchester United need more than anything else, as well as this creativity, as well as his goals, as well as his assists. They need a leader, especially with one of their leaders potentially leaving later this week.
Well, it's a waiting game on Bruno Fernandes, and we'll bring you any developments here on Sky Sports News with the transfer team. But now to Ashley Young, because some news broke last night. Mark, just bring us up to date with Inter Milan's interest.
Yeah, big developments on the Manchester United captain. This is a fascinating story. It looks like it's going to happen. It's edging closer, and as we said on the transfer show last night, there is a deal now in place between Manchester United and Inter Milan for the services of Ashley Young. The fee, we believe, according to our sources in Sky Italy, is just £1.3 million. The contract would be an 18-month deal, so it would keep him in Italy until the summer of 2021. It's expected he will be in Italy today to complete his medical, so this one is progressing quickly. Basically, the reason was that Ashley Young didn't think he was going to get enough playing time at Manchester United between now and the summer when his contract runs out. And although he can sign a pre-contract agreement with a team overseas, he didn't want to be disrespectful to Manchester United as a captain and have an agreement to join another club in the summer and still play for the side. We thought at one stage this week, particularly on our show, that there was going to be a deal scuppered by an interest in Spinazzola and another player at Roma, but it seems that Inter Milan want both Ashley Young and Spinazzola as well. So this is a fascinating story, a great opportunity at a great stage of his career where he's obviously getting towards the end, but to play for a club like Inter Milan, what an opportunity.
Yeah, can you see, Jermaine, why that would appeal?
Yeah, 100%, because where's it going to go from Manchester United in the Premier League at 34? You're looking lower end of the table. So to go to Inter Milan, it's, you know, it was a no-brainer really. He's going to link up again with his old teammate. That probably played a little part of it as well to, you know, break him in, make him feel comfortable. And like I said, it's Inter Milan in Milan. And the chance of they will be playing Champions League as well. So it ticks all the boxes for Ashley Young. So, you know, I wasn't surprised when we was hearing about the move, and to see that it's actually happening, you know, wish him all the best.
And it would be 18-month deal as well if he goes to Inter this month. How much of a fact does that have as a player of that age?
Yeah, obviously you want as long as possible a contract as as you can get, but he's got this season to find his roots, to bed himself in, and then if he has a good season next year, who knows? They might even extend it. So it's a great opportunity for him and his family.
Anton, yesterday we had a Flex United on YouTuber and Manchester United fan, and he was adamant that Ashley Young was so important to Manchester United because they have got 4 other fullbacks. But Ashley Young can guide them all with his experience and his leadership, and also cover them all as well, and even still play on the wing if needs be. So how much of a loss is this to Manchester United?
I actually think this is a really ruthless decision by Manchester United. Good teams self-evaluate, don't they? They look at their players, they look at the potential of the players behind, in the squad, and they make decisions, difficult decisions. Even if it's halfway through a season, they may have to get rid of an experienced player. They haven't done that previously. It's why they've kept Fellaini for so long. That's why they've still got Juan Mata. They've still got these players they haven't been able to get rid of. They even offered Ashley Young another contract to stay, with the fear of losing him on a free, whereas now they come to the realisation that, look, we've got 4 fantastic young fullbacks and Axel Tuanzebe who can cover them as well. We're fine. We're fine, not just for this season, but for the next few years. We don't want Ashley Young to be a progress stopper for some of these players. But let's make the decision with the next couple of years in mind, and it sends a really good message, I think, to the fullbacks at Manchester United, which is we're going to let an England fullback leave because we believe in the likes of Luke Shaw, Brandon Williams, and Wan-Bissaka and Diego Dalot. I think it's a really positive sign to those players at the squad.
They did offer him a contract extension, didn't they? So I mean, that would be, in effect, Manchester United. I suppose we're offering him another 18 months.
Yeah, I guess they probably would want to keep him because, like I said, he can be a great utility player as well. He can play both full-backs, he can play on the wing. So, he can fill a lot of gaps. But I would say the player himself, I think he probably pushed the move. He said, look, boss, Ollie, I'm not playing, I want to play. And, when you've got a player who has got his heart on set on leaving, the best thing to do is give him his wishes and let him leave.
Yeah, a few tweets have come in, #transfer talk as ever here. Jason says, how long does it take to get a deal done? I've aged about 20 years waiting on the Bruno Fernandes deal. And he also says, wish Ashley Young the best of luck if his move to Milan happens. His experience will be missed, but it's the right time for him to move on. Andrew Palmer suggesting he might be jinxing things by saying he doesn't want to talk about Fernandes until he's a Manchester United player, because he might play tonight and get injured. We hope he doesn't. And someone else says, if Manchester United get Bruno, what will the futures of Fred, Matic and Lingard be? And that's one to discuss if this deal, well, I think it's more of a when this deal goes through. But now it's time for State of Play with Anton.
Well, Arsenal, they're working to sort out a deal to sign Paris Saint-Germain defender Layvin Kurzawa. That's according to the Press Association. Lille midfielder Boubakary Soumaré, he's leaning towards choosing Chelsea over Manchester United. Meanwhile, Reece James has signed a new long-term contract at Chelsea that commits him to Stamford Bridge until at least the summer of 2025. Jonathan Kodja looks set to leave Aston Villa in this transfer window, with Qatari side Al Gharafa claiming he will arrive in Doha today. Sheffield United boss Chris Wilder has reiterated that it's up to Billy Sharp to decide whether he wants to stay or go this month. Middlesbrough, they've signed keeper Dejan Stojanovic from Swiss side St Gallen. Blackpool have confirmed the signing of Gary Medine on an 18-month contract, and Celtic have reached an agreement in principle to sign Ismaila Soro.
Still to come on Good Morning Transfers, we'll put Jermaine on the spot ahead of a massive weekend in the Premier League between Liverpool and Manchester United. Good luck.
Welcome back to Good Morning Transfers. As you can see, me and Jermaine Pennant have made our way over to the Sky Pad for the transfer twist ahead of the huge Super Sunday clash between Liverpool and Manchester United at Anfield this weekend. We are putting Jermaine in a twist. This fixture is one of the classics of the Premier League. What memories, Jermaine, do you have of this?
Not very good ones.
Sorry.
Thank you. Played 2, lost 2. But I think, that duck's been broken a long time ago, and Liverpool on a fantastic run, and I only can see one winner.
For the record, Jermaine played 2 Manchester United-Liverpool matches.
Thank you.
And lost both.
Thank you.
Sorry. As you can see, we have got a lineup of Liverpool players here. Here's the rules. We pitch to you 1 Liverpool player and 1 Manchester United player, but who will you pick or twist with? Will you trade your player from Liverpool for a Manchester United star, or will you stick with a Liverpool player? Let's take a look at the players in your pack. Alisson, Van Dyke, Wijnaldum and Salah, top class.
That's a good pack.
Are you happy with your pack?
Very happy. Very happy. I know I might be biased here, Liverpool fan, but I'm very happy.
OK, let's have a look at the first one then. Here we go. It's this. Alisson against David De Gea. 6 clean sheets this season, 4 clean sheets this season. Are you going to stick with Alisson or are you going to trade up for David De Gea?
This one's easy. I'm staying with Alisson. Great goalkeeper, but he's made too many mistakes this season. Not the goalie he was last year. So stick with Alisson.
What is it about Alisson's qualities?
With the ball. He's actually great with the ball. He's like another defender. He's like another player on the pitch. You know, he starts off most of Liverpool attacks by keeping the ball, giving that simple pass, and he's also a good shot stopper as well. So with them two attributes, you know, hence why he's probably one of the world's best goalkeepers.
How would you feel with playing with this man? Because he's got a trick in his locker as well, isn't he? Keep you on your toes.
It's a Brazilian, isn't he? He's like, hey. Yeah, no, I'd love to play with him because I know he can pick out a pass and he can find you. So rather than waiting for the defender to get it and he pings it out to you, you have a few seconds extra. So I'd love to play with him.
Stick with Alisson. Up next, these two. Rocks at the back, Virgil van Dyke, Harry Maguire. Are you going to stick with Van Dyke or are you going to trade up for Harry Maguire?
I hope Harry's not watching this, so I'll probably give me a message, but sorry, H, I'm sticking with Big Virgil. I don't need to say much on this guy. What he's done for Liverpool, you know, he's made him into an immense rock, and he is the world's best defender. So I think everyone would, you know, give me the same answer and sticking with Virgil. What was it like having a player like that at the back? You know, when you've got a defender who you know no one can get past, you know is right there every single time, every aerial battle, every defensive situation. It must be such a relief as a winger. No, it is. It's so reassuring. It's like little things, like set pieces. The last few minutes of the game, you're not panicking. You're not going, oh, they might score. You're thinking, yeah, we've got big Van Dyke here. He's going to deal with this. So, especially players like me, when I don't get in that box, heading's not my forte. So when you've got a play like that, it's brilliant.
OK, you're going to stick with Virgil van Dijk up next. This is a big challenge as well. Two fantastic players, Mo Salah, Marcus Rashford, both of them having a fantastic season, particularly Marcus Rashford. You look at him so far this season, 19 goals up against this man. Who are you going to go with?
He's in great form, and you know a lot of people probably would choose Marcus on this. Mo's not been as good as he was last season and the season before that, but what he is for Liverpool, he works with them front three. He's a part of that, and it's like a good engine, a good clockwork going. So. Would Rashford have the same impact as Mo, Mane and Firmino have got together? I doubt it. So, in that, I'm going to stick with Mo. So
it's a clean sweep at the moment. On to our final matchup. And as you can see from this one, we're being a little bit cheeky.
Oh,
great photoshopping.
Tempting fate there.
Look at this man. Wijnaldum for Liverpool, or potentially, could this be the move that happens in January? As you can see, we've got Bruno Fernandes with a Manchester United kit on. Don't worry, it's not happened just yet, but we'll let you know as soon as it does. This is a big matchup as well. Who are you going to go for?
This is a tough one. This is a tough one because, you know, Wijnaldum is more a defensive one than Bruno. But I'm going to go with Bruno on this one.
You're going to go with Bruno?
Yeah, like, he's a great player, and what he's been doing, how he's been playing is great. Liverpool are unbeaten, so it speaks volumes for himself and him as a player. But I'm going to go for Bruno.
You think he could be what Manchester United need?
Yes. The reason I'm going for that is because, you know, some teams now are really, you know, defending deep against Liverpool. And, you know, Liverpool at times might find it hard to, you know, break that little deadlock, cut something open. You know, they've got Jordan Henderson, who's, you know, the talisman at the engine, but he's more of a, you know, a defensive kind of role. He's not going to unlock like a Bruno would. And the goals he scores from is phenomenal. His stats, his assists, his chances created, his involvement in goals is unbelievable. So, you know, having the front three that they've got already, plus having Bruno Fernandes in your midfield to chip in with 10 to 15 goals as well for Liverpool, be a big team, that.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at your final picks then. Here they are in all their glory. Alisson in goal, Virgil van Dijk, Bruno Fernandes, potentially if he makes the move to Manchester United, and Mo Salah. You happy with that?
Oh, very happy. I'm very happy, mate.
That would win some games, that would.
It certainly would. I want to know whose body Bruno Fernandes'
Yes.
head is on there.
Yeah.
Come back to the desk, Mark and Jermaine. Jermaine, we're going to talk about some of the transfer moves that you made and how they came about. It's a long list of clubs that you've got here, including loans. You've got Notts County, Arsenal, Watford, Leeds, Birmingham, Liverpool, Portsmouth, Real Zaragoza, Stoke, Wolves, Pune City, Wigan, Tampines, did you say? Tampines Rovers, Bury and Billericay. All right, so...
You should have got
Dave,
to name all those himself.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Better half of them.
Do you want to pick up on a move that did or didn't happen?
Well, I think supporters, when they're watching at home, are always interested in the moves that didn't happen. And there was quite a significant move that didn't quite happen, but was actually fairly close. Tell us about that.
I thought we were referring to the Real Madrid move.
Yes, I am.
Yes. I was at home in Liverpool. It was towards the end of my contract at Liverpool in January. Real Madrid needed a winger because I think Julian Faber got injured or long-term injury, so they needed another winger. And I got the call at home. Listen, Real Madrid are putting a bid for you.
What was your reaction?
Really? I was like, yeah, okay. I'm good to go to Madrid. I'm happy. I was like, so, it took a few days and then it fell through because I think it went above the manager at the time, Ramos, who was in charge, and they didn't, speak with him about it. They just went about getting a player replacement and a winger. And when they told him, he was a bit unhappy. So then he came back to agent and said, look, Ramos is not very happy about this deal going ahead because we've gone above his head. He wanted to be involved, so it kind of fell through. So I was like, yeah, cheers, Ramos.
I don't know about you, but I often went to bed thinking about, I really wish I could be the next Julian Faber.
It's interesting.
Mark, pick up on another one.
Yeah, there's so many incredible moves, as Tom mentioned there. But for you, as a Liverpool fan, when you got the call about Liverpool, that must have been pretty special. Can you talk us through what happened? How did that one come about?
Well, it first started when I was actually playing against Liverpool. I can remember in the middle of the park, the ball was in play, and I took myself in, and Steven Gerrard was there. And I was minding my own business, just trying to do the best I can. And all I heard was, "All right, lads." And I've looked round, and it's Stevie G. And he's going, "Hey, who's your agent?" And I'm going, "Sky Andrew." All right. And then jogged off, and I was thinking, you can't do that. So the game's playing, and I'm chasing him down, going, "Do you know him? Do you know him?"
That was the quickest you'd run in the game.
Oh, it was, mate, it was. I zoomed across to see him. And then he just focused on the game. I thought, cheers. So the whole rest of I think it was like 45 minutes into the second half, so started. For the rest of the game, I was thinking, why has he asked that? Like, what's going on? So anyway, I spoke to my agent, and he said, yeah, they've been sending scouts to watch you in your games. And then it was pre-season. Birmingham got relegated that year. Pre-season, and then I got the call. So a staff member comes on the pitch, says, look, you need to go and speak to your agent. So I got out, made the phone call. He goes, right, get on a train. You're coming to Liverpool. Dropped my phone, just fumbling around, ran back onto the training pitch, said bye to the boys. Half of them was fuming because we'd just been relegated, and now I'm going to Liverpool. But that little period of time was, amazing. The feeling, it's lost for words.
Did you speak to Stevie G about that little moment on the pitch
when you got to Liverpool? No, because I think I was just still in awe. As I signed, I was in awe, so I didn't really want to go, can you remember when you spoke to me? I didn't really say it, so I just, like a fan, so I just left it and just, enjoyed my career.
And he moves abroad as well. Is that something that you would recommend for a British-based player? I mean, Zaragoza, he went to India and to Tampines Rovers as well. Tampines was Singapore, but yeah, I think they should go and explore different cultures, different leagues. Spain was fantastic. I did enjoy the football. Even the low teams play football. It's not rough. You don't get kicked in the ear like you do in the Premier League. You get a little bit more time, so it is really good, and the lifestyle is great. Great stuff. OK, more from Jermaine a little bit later. Keep those hashtags coming in, Transfer Talk, to have your say. Next, we'll be live to Newcastle and Bournemouth. Will there be any update from Steve Bruce on incomings?
Morning, welcome back to Good Morning Transfers. Remember, hello to the YouTube lot because we are streaming live on YouTube this morning. There is no excuse. You can take us wherever you're going today. Former Liverpool and Arsenal player Jermaine Pennant is with us. Time for the Pundit's Point. We've been asking all of our football guests during this transfer window to make a case for a player to stay or go. Today it is, of course, Jermaine's turn. And we are going for Mesut Ozil. Now, the midfielder has said that he is committing his immediate future to Arsenal, but he is a player who no doubt divides opinion among the Arsenal fan base. But do you think he's turned a corner under Mikel Arteta? He started the last 4.
Yeah, 100%. He's working harder. He's covering more distance. He's putting in tackles. He's now, churning in with the assists now and starting attacks and play. So, Mikel Arteta's probably put an arm around him and, knows how important of a player he can be for Arsenal. And he's responded, great. And I'm sure now the Arsenal fans are more, looking forward to the future and what he can bring. Under the Unai Emery era, I would have said probably go. But now that, Arteta's in there and changing things around for the old squad, I would definitely say should stay. I'm
sure Arsenal fans will be getting in touch with the hashtag transfer talk, but do you feel like we've seen this before from Mesut Ozil? New manager comes in, they get a bit of a bounce from Mesut Ozil, and then things might tail off or break down again. Will Arsenal fans be worried that this will be just deja vu for them? I'm sure
they would. I think everyone, has got to be a little bit wary of what he can do, though. And, he has done it in the past where he starts, on fire and then he tails off. But, I think Arteta would be the man to, put him on the straight and narrow. It's just all it is between the ears with him, with Ozil, because he's a fantastic player. When he first came to Arsenal, what he did for the club, the assists, the goals he gets, he's a wonderful player to watch. And, I think they really should, really nurture him a bit better, take more care of him. If the fear's going to tail off, then maybe put a bit more attention into him because he's on a big wage there. He's a big part of the club. So, you need to get your best out of your best players.
Some of the cynics might say that he's turning it on now, 18 months left on his contract. He's looking ahead. Is that a bit too cynical, would you say? Yeah,
look, you can't judge a book by its cover. You have to let it play out. So we only can go on what he's doing now, what he's giving Arsenal, what Arteta's getting out of him. And then in the future, if he does, then we can say, yeah, it was right. But, it's too late to judge in my
So then, in your opinion, should Ozil stay or go from Arsenal?
I think he should stay. I think everybody deserves a second chance. I've had many, but he definitely deserves a second chance. And I think he should stay because he is a great player. Arsenal need great players right now. And so if you've got one on board already, keep him.
Mercurial talent, maybe a little bit difficult to manage. Reminds me of you a little bit, doesn't it?
I can see where you're going with that, but yeah.
So, Jermaine thinks Arsenal should keep a hold of Mesut Ozil.
Yeah, all right, come back to Des, Dave and Jermaine. Anton, we've been talking a lot about Christian Eriksen. In fact, he's been subject of our stay or go in January and also in the summer as well. What's the latest on his future?
Well, at the moment, we understand Inter Milan are basically getting increasingly confident that they can get this deal done. We all know Eriksen's out of contract at the end of the season. Inter Milan know he's out of contract at the end of the season, which is why they can hold talks with him now. We've seen photographic evidence of his agent meeting with Inter Milan's sporting director Pietro Orsilio as well. So we know that there is talks taking place. If Inter Milan want to get the deal done now, it's obviously going to cost them as opposed to getting him on a free in the summer. Spurs want we understand, around £17 million. Inter Milan have initially offered half of that. The two clubs are in talks to try to meet somewhere in the middle. So it's going to be interesting to see whether that gets done. But Inter Milan are getting increasingly confident that will get done in January, not the summer.
Jermaine, how good is this for the player? He's at a big club who want him to stay. He's got 6 months left. Another big club want him and probably more. How much power does he have?
It's all in his hands, really. He dictates now if he stays or goes. Spurs won't want him to leave on a free. So, and he might want to go to Inter Milan and get another big contract. If he lets it run out, he's got two ways of looking at this. Do I go for the payday or do I go because I want to play football? If he lets it go to the end of the season, he goes on a free, his contract will be very lucrative. If he goes now on the basis I want to play football, the package won't be as big as a free contract. But if he's just, saw that his time came to an end at Spurs, then he can say, right, I've had enough. Can I go now, Jose Mourinho?
If he goes now then, and you say the contract wouldn't be quite as lucrative, but he could win Serie A only 5 or 6 months into his time there, how much would that maybe think, all right, I'll take a little bit less pay because I can have a trophy?
Yeah, that's why I said it's two ways of going about it. Is he going to play football, or is he going to look after his business basically? But obviously he's going to go there thinking, well, we can win leagues. So if he's leaving in this window, that's why he's going, because he wants the Champions League, he wants to challenge for titles. Where at the minute Tottenham, are a bit slacking at the moment. So he's going to be going there now, if he does go, because he wants to win titles and he wants to, compete in the Champions League.
And Mark, surely if he does go, Tottenham need a replacement, whether it's now or the summer.
That's the big question. Whenever you lose one of your key players, how do you replace them? Most clubs like to bring in a replacement first and then let a player go. But in this circumstance, because of the situation with his contract, it makes it very difficult to do that. The problem is, as we know, finding players in January is so difficult. Time's running out. To get a deal over the line and get something sorted is very difficult. And I was trying to look at players that potentially could fit into Spurs, short notice, and do a job. Ross Barkley, possibly, maybe Chelsea, not had huge amounts of game time. He would be someone that knows the Premier League straight across London and could slot into the side.
Just the Chelsea and Tottenham rivalry, I guess, for that one.
That's an interesting one. Shaqiri, another player at Liverpool, not had a lot of game time, only 6 Premier League appearances this season. He could be a player that could jump in and fulfil a similar kind of role. Could they hijack the Bruno Fernandes deal? Could that be something that happens? Or who else can bail them out of this situation? There's always been that link with Gareth Bale returning to Tottenham. Could this be the window that happens? It's very quiet at the moment, but someone that could come in and be a real star in a brand new stadium, we know Gareth Bale could do it.
Quite a lot of people, Tottenham fans on Twitter all through January, have been asking if Tottenham could possibly get Bale back. But interesting when you said Shaqiri, in Peter Crouch's latest book, he said that Shaqiri should have just been given a free role, so kind of playing number 10 rather than out wide, and that's where he would go if he went to Tottenham. So throwing his name in, good idea there, Mark. Right, Anton, I'm told we've got some breaking transfer news from Everton women.
Yeah, the WSL deadline is on Thursday. Everton have been probably the most active team in the WSL so far, and they've added another signing just now, and it's a big one as well. They signed Australia forward Hayley Rizzo, who's coming in until the end of the season. Now, she brings international experience. She's part of the Matildas side at the World Cup in the summer, and she joins Izzy Christensen, England international, and Sandy McIver, the England under-21 goalkeeper, as Everton look to push up the leagues. Well, they're really trying to make a splash this window, which I think is quite interesting actually. But Rizzo won't be available until February, until Australia played their Olympic qualifiers. But it's Everton are really trying to make a big push up the table. They're currently 7th. They want to be in the top 4 and then eventually try and build to try and break that sort of top 3 with the likes of Arsenal and Manchester City. So they're really going for it. It's really good to see a team actually do some business in January. And also the moves from Australia I think are quite interesting as well. We've seen Sam Kerr, arguably one of the biggest players on the planet, go to Chelsea. Caitlin Ford, we know, is in talks with Arsenal as well. So there's clearly kind of an exodus of big Australian names coming to the WSL, which I think is great for the English League. It shows that it's now trying to really make a statement as one of the big leagues up there, along with the US.
I love how competitive it is as well. The top 3 teams, you can put a cigarette paper between them because they are all so good and very, very competitive.
Absolutely. We've got plenty of tweets coming in, by the way, but one's caught my eye, Jermaine. It's a question for you. It's from someone called 8Ball, who says, I'd have Jermaine Pennant at Manchester United. Fancy coming out of retirement, lad?
Absolutely, mate. Ollie, you've got my number, pal. My agent, yeah, I'm sure he's watching. I'll make you happy, mate.
Well, we all know who your agent is now. Stephen Gerrard gave it away, didn't he? OK, keep these coming in, by the way. Hashtag Transfer Talk. Lots more to come. Don't forget to download the latest episode of the Transfer Talk podcast, iTunes, Spreaker, and the Sky Sports website. Next on Good Morning Transfer, some of the panel are on the road, so we'll be live to Newcastle and Bournemouth. We'll also be discussing Arsenal. Yeah, breaking news comes from Manchester United because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has just revealed in an interview with Sky Sports' Jeff Shreves that Harry Maguire is the new club captain, all right, which you would imagine is because Ashley Young is moved a step closer for his move to Serie A with Inter Milan. So the breaking news is that Harry Maguire is the new Manchester United club captain. I'm going to come to you now, Jermaine Pennant, because you've played with Harry Maguire before. Could you see him as being a leader at such a big club like Manchester United?
Well, I've got my opportunity to redeem myself now.
You chose
Virgil Van Dyke, so hey, here we go. Great captain, great choice. When I was at Wigan with him, he's a very humble guy, friendly at the same time as, you know, if things ain't going well, he will tell you. You know, he's a big figure. He was a big figure in the dressing room. And Kremlin used to go on these surging runs like you see now for England, for Man U. I used to think to myself, what's he doing? Get back there, you're a centre-back. But you know, he's a great ability on the ball, good defender, good in the air, got all the attributes to be, you know, one of the world's best. So I think, man, you've done the right decision there. You know, he's a player's captain where you can go approach and talk to, and you know, you don't feel in awe or in fear that because it's your captain. You know, he's really a lad's lad. So great choice.
Right, OK, so Harry Maguire, the new captain of Manchester United. It's a massive weekend in the Premier League, with Liverpool hosting Manchester United on Super Sunday. Football Centre follows us at 10 a.m, and Rob Wharton and his guests are live from Anfield. Rob, what's coming up?
Well, Tom White, very good morning to you. What a baptism it will be for Harry Maguire, his first job as club captain, then to lead his team out here on Sunday to face Liverpool, arguably their biggest rivals, their two most successful teams in English football. We're going to be live here from Anfield for 2 hours, 10 a.m. till midday. Steve McLaren, Phil Babb will be here with me pitchside. Stephen Warnock will be way up there in the warmth, the dry, I can tell you, because it's raining here, going through the tactical side of things. That's all to come your way from 10 a.m. right here on Sky Sports News.
Great stuff, Rob. Looking forward to it. Now let's get to Newcastle, because we know Steve Bruce is desperate for a striker. Keith Downey's part of our transfer team. He's in Newcastle and has been speaking to Steve Bruce. Keith, good morning to you. Mike Ashley had a meeting with Bruce about transfers. Key question from the Newcastle fans: how did that go?
Well, obviously he said that the meeting was positive. He sat down and spoke about transfer targets, said that Mike Ashley was interested to hear just who he wants to sign this month, and he said that there is money to spend. It's not just the loan market that he'll be looking for. Steve Bruce just walked past me a couple of seconds ago, actually, listening to what we're saying here as he's finished his media duties. But this is what he had to say around 15 minutes or so when I asked him about that meeting with Mike Ashley.
There's funds available if we need it. So, but that's always been the case. You know, I think what he was interested on is who we're looking at and which areas we're looking at to strengthen and what type of player, and he took a genuine interest in all of that. So, yeah, it was a very, very good meeting.
So have you kind of been given sort of carte blanche yourself, if you like, to go and, you know, go for this certain targets and say this is who I want? Or is
we've had one or two in mind.
Yeah.
We've had one or two in mind, and we'll see if we can pull them off.
Can you understand why some supporters might be saying, well, why are you meeting now with just 2 weeks of the window? Why wasn't it in November or December?
Look, our plans have been in place of who we're trying to get since last September. Really, you know, we've been September, October, November, we've been planning of what we're doing. He was just arriving to come to the game to have a look at the stuff that we are doing. So, you know, it wasn't the case that we haven't been doing our jobs because you only arrived halfway through January. You know, I speak to Lee and Steve Nixon every day, and we are the ones who drive it. And then, of course, when we identify the ones that we want or we think we can get, then, of course, Lee asks the question.
So that was Steve Bruce on his meeting this week with Mike Ashley. Now, there were some overnight reports about Newcastle being linked with a winger. Now, we know they're looking for a winger as well. It's the Austrian winger Valentino Lazaro of Inter Milan. I put the name to Steve Bruce just around 15 minutes ago. He normally knocks them back, but this is what he had to say.
I think I said it last week too. I think it would be wrong for me to talk about individuals. We have been linked with about 58 players, and he's the latest one. I don't really want to comment on that just yet.
I think the key words there were, I don't want to comment on that just yet. You heard Steve Bruce. I don't want to comment on that just yet. That would indicate to me that there is an interest there, and he is potentially one of the players that Steve Bruce would like to bring to the club. In terms of departures, he confirmed that Dwight Gale, despite his hamstring injury, will be going nowhere. He said that he's said it 25 times now, and he will remain a Newcastle United player. So that's your wrap from Newcastle today. It sounds as though there's some, as Steve Bruce would say, some plate spinning.
Thanks, Keith. Right, let's get to Bournemouth now. Pressure on Eddie Howe. James Green, also part of our transfer team, has been speaking to him this morning. James, any news on potential incomings or outgoings?
A lot of pressure, as you said, on Eddie Howe. Talking about outgoings, I asked him about Nathan Ake. I thought I would try and cheer him up a little bit because Sky Sports News reported that Chelsea were unlikely to activate the buyback clause. He did have a little wry smile about him, but I found it quite ironic that Nathan Ake stands there next to an air vent, maybe on his way to Chelsea. He didn't deny that that's definitely over and done with, so we'll have to watch this space. But I did ask him about potential newcomings, and this is what he had to say.
A combination of things makes it very difficult for us in this window to recruit. So league position, availability of players, resources available to improve the squad. It's, as I say, it's going to be potentially loans that we're looking at, and they're not easy to find the right players that improve the squad. I could sign a whole host of players, but I need someone to come in and actually improve what we've got, and I think that's the most difficult part.
Are you still searching though?
Always. I think we're searched till the end of the window. Because if there is that one player out there that can then make the difference, then we need to find him.
So he's actively looking in the market, maybe for a loan signing if he can, but he's very specific over the type of player that he does need. But results need to improve for Eddie Howe. Hopefully it does on Saturday against Norwich. Back to you guys in the studio.
Well done, James. Thank you. Right, OK, we've just got time to get back to Jermaine Pennant. Jermaine, is there ever a time where you come on television and don't get asked a story, possibly a myth? You can tell us if it's true or not. But a very expensive car being abandoned at an airport and never to be seen again by you.
It's never getting old. It's not leaving me alone. Basically, the general manager called me in at Zaragoza on deadline day and said, right, listen, do you want to go on loan to Stoke? And I said, absolutely. Get back home. So I had literally 5 hours to get to Madrid, and I have to get a train from Zaragoza to Madrid airport, fly to Manchester, get over to Stoke. So I parked my car in the train station, done the necessary, landed in Manchester, signed my deal, happy days. Right, I'll go back next week, get my car. No days off, a lot of games, January and all that. So I just didn't get the time to go back. 2 months go past, yeah, I'll do it next week. 3 months go past, it ends to be about 6 months, and it's in the car park. So I phoned a friend, I said, look, I don't think I'm going to get back to get it. So he picked it up for me, paid the bill, I transferred the funds over, and I've never seen it since. And I don't really know where it is or what's happened to it.
So someone is driving a very expensive car around the place, or they have a significant amount of money in their back pocket from selling it. At your expense, surely it bothers you a little bit.
No, he said it's in the garage and we're looking after it.
What? How many years ago was that?
Yeah, many years ago.
Gathering dust.
You've got a fairly expensive garage bill to come as well. Right, Jermaine, great to see you. Thanks very much for coming. Actually, you're back next Friday, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Excellent. I hope you've enjoed it, because we want you to come back. And, of course, we've almost got you moved to Manchester United as well.
I am a Liverpool fan. I decline.
Oh. It's because your phone hasn't rung yet. Jermaine, thank you. Mark, thank you. Dave, thank you. Anton, thank you. They are all back for Transfer Talk at 12 o'clock. Adeola Depot is coming in as well, and Jo Wilson is replacing me, and she will also be recording the Transfer Talk podcast this afternoon as well, available tonight, iTunes, Spreaker and the Sky Sports website. Next on Sky Sports News, it is Football Centre being presented live from Anfield. Rob Watton is joined by Steve McLaren, Stephen Warnock and Phil Babb. That's coming up in a few minutes' time.